President Biden today and the First Lady are hosting a barbecue for active service members for Independence Day before viewing the fireworks over the National Mall later this evening. But his administration and campaign are trying to reassure fellow Democrats amid growing concerns about his re-election campaign. The president told more than 20 Democratic governors last night that he will stay in the race in the wake of his shaky debate performance last week. And tomorrow he'll sit down for what will be a highly anticipated network TV interview. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane is following this for us from the White House. So, Scott, a second House Democrat is now urging the president to withdraw from the race. Arizona progressive Raul Grijalva released a statement saying what he needs to do is shoulder the responsibility for keeping that seat, and part of that responsibility is to get out of this race. Scott, what's the general consensus right now among Democratic members of Congress and governors whom the president spoke with last night?
Lindsay, you now have two U.S. House Democrats on the record saying unequivocally the president should withdraw. I can give you a third, fourth, fifth, and sixth who've said something close to that either the president is destined to lose or that there are grave concerns the president would lose and the Democrats would lose if he doesn't pull out. Those are the ones speaking aloud. It's those who are speaking internally that may be a graver concern for this White House, because we know House Democrats and Senate Democrats are concerned about the down ballot impacts of all this. And not only are they at risk of losing the White House to Donald Trump, but that there's a contagion that can spread into the Senate races that are competitive, the congressional races that are competitive, and that it could be a trifecta for Republicans if President Biden doesn't do one of two things: change the trajectory of this race by making more public appearances and energizing his campaign with an injection of enthusiasm, or simply hand this over to somebody else. And I can tell you, here on the 4th of July at the White House, it is largely a day invisible to the public for President Biden. He has some events this evening with military families. There's a barbecue on the South Lawn. There's a fireworks watching party. He's expected to make some remarks, but there'll be no media question access to the president. And most of this day, he simply won't be seen, which, though it's a holiday, Lindsay, really runs counter to the unsolicited advice he's getting from some Democrats to get out there unscripted and see and hear America.
I mean, we have that interview scheduled for tomorrow, his first one-on-one since the debate. How big of a test is this for him?
It's a pre-taped interview, so you wouldn't hear it in real time, but they've moved it up the calendar. Instead of it airing Sunday morning on ABC, it's going to air in prime time tomorrow on ABC. Part of that, maybe the White House is urging to get this thing out into the universe faster, because it's been 7 days since the president has taken questions. Post-debate, he hasn't taken questions, and there are any number of questions people are eager to ask. This can be a pathway back for the president, but I think the Democrats with whom we're speaking certainly want to hear more. They want to see him in front of voters, town halls, rallies, events, without the help of a teleprompter, without strict guidance on what he's answering. They want to see that. And though he's got a rally planned tomorrow in Madison, Wisconsin, and another one expected in Pennsylvania Sunday, I'm not sure these first initial steps are coming soon enough for Democrats who wanted him to put out this fire a week ago.
And these questions have really been dominating the White House briefings. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre first told the press corps the president had not had any kind of medical exam since his checkup in February, including post-debate. Now the administration is saying he did have a checkup for his cold several days after the debate. What are we to make of the messaging coming out of this White House right now?
That sure was an important question, wasn't it, considering how dogged this White House has been over the past 7 days about the president's health. A lack of clarity about whether the president has seen a doctor is not helpful to a White House trying to assure Democrats. The latest statement from the White House is that the president was, in fact, checked by a doctor after and because of that cold, but it runs counter to what the White House press secretary said during a briefing yesterday. I can just tell you, Lindsay, it's about roughly 1,000 degrees here at the White House. It's one of the hotter days in D.C. this year. It's all very metaphorical because the heat and pressure is intensifying on this White House.
Scott's back in his suit and tie. All is right with the world after holiday travel coverage. Scott, thanks so much.